down for a nap, so I was like, this is a great opportunity to make another video. So this video I wanted to talk about my life postpartum because it's been very interesting. It's been great. Having a newborn is the best, but it's also the hardest thing I have ever done in my life. I moved cross country by myself at 18 from Chicago to LA without knowing anybody, and I thought that was hard. I thought my 46-hour labor was hard. That stuff is cake compared to raising a newborn. Yeah, it's definitely the hardest thing I've ever had to do. So I just wanted to talk about my experience and my struggles, but also the rewarding aspects of it, because through my hard times dealing with a newborn, I love reaching out to other moms, whether it be friends or on a Facebook group. I just talking to other people about my issues, knowing that somebody else is going through them really helps me. So I thought I would share with you guys, and maybe it can help you, or if you have any advice you want to give me. Okay, so Savannah is now, she turned 5 weeks yesterday. She has her ups and downs. I would say she's definitely a difficult baby. I don't necessarily think she has colic per se, because she'll have like a week of being an angel and just everything is great and she's sleeping and she's eating, and she's a lot of fun, and then all of a sudden, like literally overnight, she's a different baby. Which no one ever tells you this. Babies have growth spurts, which, like, yeah, duh, obviously they do, but like you never think about that. Like all the advice people give you when you're pregnant is like, oh, get sleep while you can, or you ready for your life to change, like things like that, which is not very helpful. So what I would say to new or expecting parents is, expect growth spurts in your baby. Those growth spurts are super important to know that they're coming, because at least for me, in my experience, for my baby, it turned my baby into a monster. I love her so much, but it turned her into a little monster. I call her my little booger when she's acting up. So that we had no idea about that, and so like luckily I had a friend on Facebook talk about the app. Oh my gosh, what is it called? Shoot. Oh, who told me about it? What is it called? The Wonder Weeks? The Wonder Weeks. So it just tells you when a growth spurt is coming on, when to expect your baby to be extra cranky, extra fussy, what is going on in that growth spurt specifically, so you know what's developing in your baby at that time. So with her growth spurt currently, for a week she was awesome. She was an angel, and then literally overnight it all changed. And the thing that was hardest for me, and I'm still dealing with it a little bit, was breastfeeding. In the beginning, and I'll talk about my lactation consultant, in the beginning it was hard because I've never breastfed before, she's never breastfed before, so our latch was a little off, so we hired a lactation consultant, and it was great. Really helped out. Our breastfeeding was going awesome. And like she would eat, and she would get milk drunk, and then she would take a good nap, and she would sleep, and then she'd wake up, and I'd change her diaper, and she'd feed, and it was like a good routine that we had. And then all of a sudden one day she was getting so frustrated with my breasts. Oh, and before this, she got a little frustrated because I had a really fast letdown. So the milk would spray her in the back of her throat. She'd get really uncomfortable. So what I was told, my pediatrician, or her pediatrician, said before every feed to manually express some milk to let that all that milk get out of the way, and then feed her, which totally helped. I mean, it made a night and day difference. So I'm like, okay, great. That problem is fixed. And then again, all of a sudden, she got super frustrated. So, and I'm still like expressing. So I'm like, well, what's wrong now? And every single feed was such a struggle. It still kind of is. she would get so pissed off. She would like, and she, she doesn't do this on purpose, but like claw at my boob. Um, I mean, it would get really painful. I mean, painful. She's a newborn, so, but, and I just felt really bad for her because she just cry, 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 cry every time I try to feed her, and I'm concerned, like, I'm not feeding my baby. Do I not have enough milk? I thought I had more than enough milk, but now I feel like I don't have enough because she's crying every feed. So it really put doubt in me as a mother. Like, am I able to take care of my baby? I can't even feed her. She's so pissed off at me every time I try to feed her. Um, and she only falls asleep uh, after nursing. She's not one of those babies that's just super chill and you hold her. Like, no, she'll cry her ass off. She just wants boob. That's it. That's the only thing that makes her happy is my boob. Um, and so that's the only way she would fall asleep. But if she's crying and she's fussing the whole time, she's not eating a lot of food and she's not getting tired, so she wouldn't sleep. So she would go days without napping. She would sleep at night, but no naps in the day. And like, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a pediatrician, and I'm a new mom, but like, a newborn's got to take naps, like, she wasn't taking any because every feed was just such a struggle. She would cry all day. I mean, there were times where like I was texting my husband saying like I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go. Like, I'm literally at my wit's end because I can't make this baby happy. Um, and I mean, I would cry. I would cry for hours with her, and I never had any anger towards her or any resentment towards her or anything like that, which I'll get into at like postpartum depression and stuff. But it was more about me. Like, I felt terrible. I felt like I can't take care of my baby, so because I felt like I didn't have enough milk. But when I would pump, like, there was milk. So after doing, after talking to other mommies and doing a lot of research, apparently for when your baby's going through a growth spurt, she might not be happy with your volume, with your supply. Even though you have enough, she wants more because she's growing. Um, and so I heard that this is kind of like your mother nature's signal to your body. Your baby is telling your body, hey, it's time to now like really establish your milk supply to support my growing body. Um, so after 3 days of this, of mama going crazy, crying all day, every day, with her baby, on the fourth day, which was yesterday, in the morning, she finally ate and fell asleep. And I'm like, I literally did the sign of the cross and I said, thank you, Jesus. I have my baby back. And we went all day feeding, and it was great. I had my Savannah back. And then evening came, and it was the same thing. This morning, which is day 5, and apparently this growth spurt, according to Wonder Weeks, lasts 1 week. Um, this morning, it was a fussy feed. We went to the pediatrician's, her doctor appointment this morning, and we just got back and she fed and she's asleep and she's happy. So I'm wondering if we're progressing and she's finally ending the near of her growth spurt, which is bringing my normal baby back and not this little monster. But anyways, like, who knew? Who knew? So I thought I would share that because I don't know if there's any other moms out there dealing with breast refusal, because it's so hard. You want to feed your child, but like, you can't. She doesn't want it, or she wants it, but she's not happy with it. So that has definitely been the hardest part so far, for sure. And anyways, if you're wondering with any advice about that, if you're dealing with something similar, her pediatrician said, and everything that I've read online is, you gotta wait it out. It sucks. As long as your baby is healthy and gaining weight and having enough wet and poopy diapers, even though she's angry, she's fine and she's getting fed. My pediatrician said just as long as she gets at least 5 minutes on each breast, she's getting 90% of what she needs to eat. And I was force feeding her. Every time she'd pop off, I'd bring her back on, pop off, bring her back on, for at least 10 minutes on each side. And so she was like, that she's getting her food. She might not be happy, but she's getting her food. So she just said, keep doing what you're doing, and eventually, like, she'll get over it. It'll go away. It'll just go away. I don't know how long it's going to take. Again, I'm on day 5 and I'm seeing progress. Um, but that's definitely been the hardest thing. What else was I going to talk about? Oh, okay. So in the beginning, first of all, I'm going to start by saying I had a doula, and that was the best decision I ever made. I brought on our doula. Her name is Devin Germanovich. She's my Facebook friend, and she's amazing, and I love her so much. And she's actually turning into a really good friend. So it's a beautiful thing. But at first, I wasn't gonna get a doula. I was like, oh, my husband and my mom will be in the room. That's more than enough. I'm doing hypnobirthing. Like, I'm good. I don't need a doula. And then around 37, I think 36 or 37 weeks, something just hit me, and I was like, I need a doula. Like, my gut, my intuition was saying, I need a doula. I want a doula. Um, and I found Devin, which was very serendipitous how I found her. And so I thought that was a sign. Like literally the day before, the night before, I was like, I think I really need a doula. The next morning, I go to work and my friend was like, hey, do you need a doula? And I was like, how did you read my mind? Yeah, I'm looking for one. She's like, oh, my friend does this. And I was like, okay, so I'll reach out to her. Turns out Devin lives literally down the street from me, walking distance. She's friends with my friends, and like it just all worked out perfectly. So I just thought that was way too serendipitous to pass up. Having her was such a blessing. I mean, and my husband and my mom were fantastic as well, but it was just such a great team. And so your doula helps you before you have your baby, obviously for the birth, and then afterwards. It's so nice having somebody come in and check up on you. Like I text her if I have any questions, and it's having like a best friend guide you through this new experience. It's really comforting. I also turned my placenta into pills. Well, I didn't do it. Devin did it, my doula. So that's something I wanted to talk about. You know, a lot of people eat their placenta nowadays, and I'm really glad I did it. Again, I have no other experience if I didn't do it, obviously, so I have nothing to compare it to. But a lot of my friends that did it didn't suffer from any postpartum. You heal a lot faster. It helps when you get your first period back. It helps with that. It balances out your hormones. I mean, think about it. You were pregnant for so long and then all of a sudden you're not. Your body's like, huh, the hormones are like, oh my God. And so taking the placenta pills just kind of like eases that transition, makes it a lot more smooth. So I've been doing that. And I'm so fortunate and so happy to say I have not dealt with any postpartum depression. There's been difficult times. I've definitely cried. I've definitely was at my wit's end, but never any depression, thank goodness. And so, is that because I'm taking placenta pills? I don't know, but it's like it could be a placebo effect. But if it's a placebo effect, okay, do it. Like we have nothing to lose. So I definitely think that's something to look into. And then Devin also took an imprint of my placenta and made like a little painting of it, which sounds weird, but it's really cool. And then she took our umbilical cord and she dried it into a heart. And I know that sounds so weird, but it's on Savannah's nightstand in her nursery, and it's really sweet. Every time I'm feeding her or having a hard time, I just look at that and I was like, it takes me back to like the sweet moments. And so when she's crying her ass off and not wanting to eat, I look at her, I'm like, oh, I remember those sweet moments. But anyway, so having a doula, taking placenta pills has really, really helped me. I made a list of what I was going to talk about, so sorry, I'm like looking at my phone. Oh, I'm going to kind of go all over the place because when you're a mom and like you're writing it's just been crazy, so I might go all over the place. Newborn clothes. I know they tell you not to buy a lot of newborn clothes because your baby's going to grow out of it super fast. True. However, on the other hand, newborns are really messy. There's a lot of spit up, there's a lot of poop explosions. And I don't, like, again, I'm a first time mom, so maybe other moms out there are like, oh, she spit up on her outfit, who cares, just leave it. I don't know, like if her outfit is wet, I don't want to leave it on her because to me, it just seemed really, like, I don't want to be in wet clothes. It just doesn't seem very comfortable. So there are probably not every day, but there are days where I literally, there's like 3 outfit changes. Not because I want her to look cute, just because she gets it so dirty. Um, so that's something to think about. So I wouldn't necessarily like buy brand new clothes, like expensive newborn clothes. Go to your thrift store. Hand-me-downs would be great from friends or relatives or whatever. Garage sales. So I would say definitely have a lot of newborn clothes, but don't spend a lot of money on it. And they always said with the pajamas you always want the zipper instead of the buttons. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Yeah, my baby will be perfect and she won't squirm at all. So I bought all these cute outfits, but it's the truth. The easier the outfit, the better, as a newborn, because they get so fussy, and like I feel bad when I'm trying to pull her arm through a really cute outfit and she's like, nah. So when she gets older, it might be easier. But definitely as a newborn, the easier the outfit, the better. You can spruce it up with a headband, because headbands are easy to put on. So definitely I would suggest having a lot of newborn clothes, but again, don't spend a lot of money on it. What else was I going to talk about? Have burp cloths lying around your house everywhere. We have so many burp cloths, and people gave us so many burp cloths for whatever reason, and I was like, oh my god, are we going to use all these burp cloths? Yes, you are, at least with me and my little one. So I would suggest having one, I mean, literally in every room within arm's reach, because there's nothing sucky than like having your baby spit up everywhere on your clothes, on your back, and you're like, I can't touch anything. So definitely have one within arm's reach. It's definitely, if you're breastfeeding, it's definitely important to set up a breastfeeding station, whatever that may be. I have one in the nursery, obviously, on her rocking chair on the glider. Also on the couch, like I have my boppy right here, and then next to me on the couch, I always have water. I always have like almonds. I always have a snack. I always have my cell phone. I always like set up a little, and then like a burp cloth. I always have like a little station, just to make everything easy. And for me, like sometimes I don't breastfeed here because I like to watch TV when I'm breastfeeding. But for Savannah, I've learned that she gets very overstimulated very easily. So I would suggest, if you have a baby that's like that, to have your breastfeeding station be someplace really quiet, not necessarily dark, but just real peaceful and relaxed. So I usually do it in our master bedroom. Um, yeah, on our bed, with the boppy. So I would suggest definitely before you breastfeed, just have everything you need within arm's reach. What else? Savannah's sleep. So she hates the bassinet, and I'm sure you guys have had newborns that hate the bassinet. She would not sleep. Even if we swaddled her nice and tight, she just hated it. And I mean, I don't blame them. It's not your mom's room. It's even though it's a bassinet and it's smaller than a crib, I feel like it still seems big for a baby. And we bought this gorgeous bassinet from, oh my god, Land of Nod, which is, what is that, Crate and Barrel. And I would suggest, like, that was a mistake on my part. Get the cheapest bassinet from wherever, because your baby might not like it. And so what we had to do was, the Graco pack and play that we bought. It came with like a little like travel size bassinet. Um, so we'll put her in there, and then we put that in the bassinet. And we were worried at first because they say that your baby shouldn't sleep long periods of time in that, because it curves, and so her chin is like this. And I've talked to so many moms about it, and it's trust your gut, trust your intuition. You know what's best. And honestly, like, there's so many do's and don'ts and rules about newborns and how to raise a child and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for you and your baby. And you can't compare yourself to other parents, because what worked for them might not work for you. And so we keep her in that, and she's been fine, and she's great, and she's sleeping well in that, and so we just keep her in that. And but yeah, so like again, no one ever told me that. Like, oh, your baby might not like the bassinet, so don't spend a lot of money on it. I didn't know that, so there you go. Um, what else was I going to talk about with her? Oh, and you know how they say like, during the day you want to differentiate the day and night for a baby. So like during the day, don't worry about being quiet. Have the TV on, have the lights on. That doesn't work for Savannah. She gets very, very overstimulated very quickly. Um, so while she does nap, I do bring her little portable pack and play here on the couch, and I'm watching TV, so there is noise in the background, but I don't turn on all the lights in the house. I don't. I still am aware that there's a sleeping baby. Because Savannah, like my dogs, I have hardwood floors, and my dogs, and like the nail sound that happens when they walk, like that bothers her when she sleeps. Um, so so there's that. So that didn't work for me, doing like the day and night thing. And she sleeps great at night, which is so weird. I feel like during the day it's hard for her, but at night she sleeps well, which is so bizarre, but she does. Um, so again, that's something that like didn't work for us, and that you read it everywhere, like differentiate night and day, but that didn't work for us. So um, growth spurts I talked about. Hiring a lactation consultant was amazing. Is definitely worth the money. In the hospital, like like if one lactation consultant gave me a nipple shield, like it makes your nipple bigger. Because like if you've never breastfed before, like your nipple, like it's not long enough because the ligaments aren't stretched because they're not used to being sucked on. Um, so so my nipples weren't long enough, so that made our latch difficult. Um, so I had a lactation consultant come to my home, and she sat there with me and literally watched me breastfeed Savannah, and literally got in there and helped us out and gave us advice and things for me to do, like pumping and massaging. And I mean, hiring a lactation consultant like changed everything, and I'm so grateful that I did. Because it has made a world of difference for Savannah and I. And there were times where I wanted to give up. Even yesterday, 2 days ago, I was telling Matt, I was like, breastfeeding, I'm over it. Like, you were formula fed, you turned out okay. Like, I'm done. This is exhausting. But don't give up. Like, for me, the past few days, every single feed, and you feed a baby like 8 to 12 times a day. Every single feed was a struggle. But I didn't give up. I'm not going to give up. So that would be my best advice. And don't be ashamed of hiring a lactation consultant, because before, when I was pregnant, I was like, I'm not going to need one. Like, I'll be great. Savannah and I have a great bond. She's my best friend. It'll be good. We'll communicate telepathically. It'll be great. That was not the case. I had to hire a lactation consultant, and it was amazing. And now Savannah and I are doing great, other than her little growth spurt issue. But as far as like the latch is concerned, like we got it, and I'm so grateful for my lactation consultant. So I definitely think you should get one if you need it. Your doula can be helpful with that as well. What else? Oh, another random thing. On your changing table, put down a little towel or like a muslin, the muslin Aiden and Nene blankets, just something, because your changing pad cover will get very dirty very quickly. And no new mommy has the time to constantly take it off and wash it. So have your changing pad, put the little cover over it, and then have a little towel on there, because there's going to be poop and pee on there almost every single time you change your baby's diaper. And when it gets dirty, you literally just fold it up, put it in your hamper, and you still have a clean, changing pad, and you put a new towel down. So that is something that I learned. So I think that's all I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, even though I'm not going through postpartum depression, I signed up for a postpartum class, like not class, support group. Even though you might not be going through postpartum depression, I think it is so important to talk it out with somebody, with other moms, I mean, it is such a huge change. I mean, I know people are, tell you, oh, your life's about to change. Like, and you can, take that all in as much as you can, but you won't understand until it's actually here and you're actually living it. It is the biggest change, hardest thing you'll ever have to do. And it's really overwhelming. And I don't have family here. All my family's in Chicago. I'm literally by myself. I mean, obviously I have my husband, but he works his ass off and he's at work every day, sometimes working doubles. And of course, like I have friends here, but if you're anything like me, you don't want to bother your friends. You know what I mean? Especially like my baby's girlfriend's a diva. Like she is not easy. And so like the last thing I want to do is call my friend up and have him drive over here and here's my screaming baby. Like you just feel bad. So I did have a friend, like I had to buy more Diaper Genie refills, and so I texted a girlfriend of mine. She was so sweet and she brought it over. So like things like that, I will text my friends. But as far as like dealing with the screaming baby, like I can't give that to anybody because it's so hard and I feel bad. But yeah, so it's been really tough, especially doing this by myself. My husband and I, and we have 2 dogs, and so trying to work out their schedule. Like got to take the dogs out, got to feed them. Not but got to feed my baby, but I also have to feed myself. Like it's a lot. So just talking it out with somebody, with other moms, and listening to their experiences just really helps. And I'm a Cancer, so I like to keep things in. I don't really like to share my feelings, to be honest with you. Like if my husband and I get into a fight, like I'm an introvert. Like I shut down, and I'm just like, well, what's the point of talking about it? Like let me sleep on it and I'll feel better tomorrow. I don't really like talking about my feelings, but for whatever reason, like during my pregnancy and now like postpartum, like talking with somebody is like the best therapy for me, which is so weird because I never really was like that, but that's been really helping me. So again, reach out, find a Facebook group if you can't, find a group in person. That's my best advice. Sorry if it was kind of all over the place. Don't worry about asking questions. Text your friends. Go on that Facebook group and just ask questions. There's no stupid question. And just know that it's going to take time getting to know your baby. Again, like I had this super great bond with her during my pregnancy. Like I would talk to her before I was even pregnant. Like I'm a super spiritual person like that. So like I would talk to my future baby girl before she was even in my belly. So like I was like, when she's here, like it's just going to be like instant. And it is. Like I love her so much, and we do have a very special bond. But on the other hand, you still have to realize, and I'm learning this right now, like she is her own person, and I have to get to know her. Even though I thought I knew her, she's been in me for the past 9 months. Like of course I know her, but having her out here, like it's completely different, and I'm learning new things about her every single day, and which is exciting, but also very challenging. So it's like kind of learning about her all over again. So it's been a crazy ride. And every day kind of brings me anxiety because I'm like, what's today gonna be like? But yeah, so just keep trying new things, like if she's screaming her head off, and I changed her diaper and I fed her, and I'm like, what else do you want from me? Go for a walk, go massage her, just take a bath with her. I literally, like, we take a bath together and it's so sweet. But just keep getting to know your baby. Every day is such an adventure, and know that things do get better, and then they might get worse again, and then they're gonna get better. And it's all worth it, at least I think. Anyway, I'm gonna end this because I'm just but thanks for watching, guys. Thank you so much for like everyone supporting me and like messaging me and commenting on my questions and giving me advice and listening to me. Like I really appreciate it. It really does mean a lot. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. And I will make a video next time she's napping and next time I have time. Okay. Baby girl, don't cry. Just
close your pretty eyes. Mama's gonna sing you a lullaby.